Okay. Call the October meeting of the Canterbury Historic District Commission to order. First on the agenda is approval of the August 20th draft meeting minutes. And there it is.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Keep our agenda order then. So we're just going over approval of the draft minutes from August. Anybody have any changes, corrections, misinterpretations, outright lies that they need fixed? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from August.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approved. New business, 6 Hackleboro Road, to create a secondary path between the parish hall and the back of the Canterbury Country Store. Now that Alex is here, I'm going to step out of my chairman role and become the applicant role.
Is this okay?
Yeah. So, this application is submitted by the Canterbury Community Market LLC for work on the Canterbury United Community Church property. This goes back to when the store put on the new porch roof on the back of the building to cover the fire exit door. We had talked at length about snow and ice and where that would accumulate. And so it seems that that current walkway is close enough that even when it has a mild winter, you're still getting some snow and ice there. And if it's not addressed right away, it doesn't take long for it to pack in there, and it becomes really hard for anybody to clear it. So one of the things that we had discussed would be that the LLC would be willing to put in a seasonal, if you will, pathway that was farther away from that porch roof. So if you look on the little illustration here, what I propose is that using the existing entrance of the walkway off of the current parking lot, go in about 3 feet or so, and then start to head down the hill parallel to the walkway, but heading more towards the corner of the parish house. And then once you're beyond the porch roof, then swinging back in and joining the existing asphalt walkway. That way, the elevation is such that water won't be pitched down towards the door. There's another basement door, if you will, in the parish house. And yet, we need to leave enough space. If you look at the end of the new walkway and then where the bump out of the parish house, the elevations are very close there, so I don't wanna get too close because whatever water is pooling in there needs to go somewhere. And although it has to get a little bit high before it runs, it does run over the walkway. So the material will be just a ledge pack, compacted, 3 feet wide. And we're hoping that that's gonna help solve the problem. Any questions?
Has this been brought to the church? Have you proposed this to the church?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
talked with Jeff Beltramo, and this goes prior discussions even back, like I said, when we got the approval to do it, we've been in consultation with the church.
This is just to help kind of in the winter time?
Yeah, yeah,
If I might intercede, one of the concerns is snow and ice sliding off of that metal roof. And right now it's falling right on that walkway.
On the pathway?
So it's a safety issue.
Okay.
As much as anything else.
Okay.
So are we allowed to speak at this point?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so,
believe so.
so I just have a question about these, Kevin, I don't remember discussing the materials. So I'm just wondering if that's gonna, if that material is gonna stay put as well as like an asphalt sidewalk. I mean, I'm not sure why we're using ledge path rather than just making a new sidewalk.
I'm not so sure that anybody's got the money to lay asphalt, quite frankly. That's a huge expense. The ledge packet that's compact, water compacted, is basically, you can run a plow over it.
So it doesn't dissipate over time, like.
The trick is that it's gotta be compacted. You know, once it's compacted, it's almost as hard as concrete. You know, most driveways are using ledge pack, and over time, snow plows may actually take a little bit of the crown out, but you don't necessarily destroy it. The only difference would be is if you get onto a new piece before it has a chance to set in and freeze, you just wanna be careful that you're not damaging down into it.
With a snow?
The snow blower
Snow
generally
blower?
has shoes on it that keeps it up on.
You're not proposing to remove the existing hut top, are you?
No,
Okay, good,
I don't see the point of it. I
Yeah.
mean,
that's good.
kind of is the path that's used 85% of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this would just be another reason not to asphalt it, because if you were to pave it and you've got 2 ribbons of asphalt, then you'd be thinking about tearing up fuel one.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and the water in that door would be an issue, it could become an issue, yeah.
Well, that's all about grading.
Yeah.
Wouldn't, you know, necessarily be what the material is itself, but.
Yeah.
And, I just have one other question, just so you guys are looking at a drawing or something.
Mhm.
All I have here is the application. So do we have a plan and material descriptions and the things that are listed here? Ah, great, thank you. So a photo,
Becky shared this with me today too, and I actually didn't see any of that either, and what she was voicing were a couple of my concerns, just cause I didn't see any of this table filled out at the bottom. And I was noting that it said, is this actually the preliminary meeting, or there was no preliminary meeting on this?
There's only a preliminary meeting if you ask for one.
Okay.
if desired.
Can I ask, the slope for the current asphalt piece and the slope farther away from the back of the store, that's much steeper. Is that steepness
Slope
going
away
to be
from the back of the
addressed?
store. Not quite sure where,
The area, I think what she's saying, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Adrienne Hutchinson, and I have done the snow removal for the last 5 years at the parish house, so I am the one who runs the snow blower, and I do have just a couple of concerns about this, and I do understand what you're saying. The grade there is very steep, actually, some of the neighborhood kids ride their bike over it to come on down, and again, I only heard about this a few hours ago, but looking at the image, it looks like the proposed pathway is gonna be on an area that is probably gonna be too steep for elderly patrons and wheelchairs of anybody coming into the business downstairs. So I was hoping to see if you're able to give any of that information. I mean, it sounds like it's not gonna be raised up, is that correct? It's gonna stay packed at relatively the same height as the existing asphalt?
correct. The problem with raising it is then you're creating even more slope,
Right,
okay? The reason that I'm not starting at the parking lot is because you would have more pitch. So you're gonna come down to the point where just before you get into the shed zone, if you will, that you would veer to the right and then parallel roughly, there's a curve to it. But you need to keep the slope such that there's this downward slope and then there's a side-to-side slope, okay? And the side-to-side slope, if it pitches to the right, it's gonna shed even more water into your basement area where that exit door is, okay? So we have to keep it level going down. The slope actually isn't too bad the closer you stay to the existing asphalt, the better. Problem is that you're also getting closer to the shed zone. So you can't have both,
Right,
Pretty tight.
right?
so, and was there, I'm sorry, Kevin, but was there discussion about like people who are using walkers, using wheelchairs, cause we're all getting older?
I had a discussion with Jeff Beltramo, who I assumed was in charge of the either decision-making or at least the information spreading part.
And you guys talked about that,
And he was all on board with it. We talked about slope, pitch, material,
wheelchairs,
wheelchairs. I mean,
this is important for us.
I get that. I guess the wheelchair from what aspect, because that's certainly not ADA compliant as it is now. So a wheelchair person using the asphalt
But-
would have problems, okay, right? So are you?
This sounds steeper than that to me, but I don't
No,
have any way to know that.
it won't be appreciably steeper, and that's why I wanted to take off as close to the shed as possible, shed zones, that's what I'm calling I mean, last year we didn't have a whole lot of snow and ice, right? So it's hard to really figure out. It never all came down at once, as a matter of fact, it stuck more than
Yeah.
shed, so someone would have to go out and knock it off, which is what we did.
Yeah.
Idea that a massive sheet is gonna come down at once, although it's possible, is probably unlikely that it would shed that way because of the pitch of the roof. It's gonna come down onto the rocks and the asphalt.
Where it came down last year.
Yeah,
And the asphalt would be usable most of the year. It's just in the winter time that we'd be snow blowing up the new trail, so, to prevent that possibility of somebody getting hurt.
and quite frankly, when it's done and compacted, if in a year or two the church wants to pave it,
Yeah.
3/4 of the work is
This is
done.
the issue though, we're having to do this because of the improvements to the store.
Yeah.
And now you're doing this on the church
Well,
property, so it would be the church would have to redo it, right? So that's one reason I'm asking these questions,
No. All they would have to do is have it hot top.
but we don't wanna do that now.
You can't afford it.
So, but we'll be able to afford it then,
Well,
you know, I
we
mean,
don't know, but we may not have to.
If it was a year-round issue, then I could see that it would be worth the expense, honestly, for 3 months.
Yeah.
I'm willing to guess there's way more important things to spend the money on.
Could I ask a question? How often, how frequently, daily, weekly, does this path get used? Is
Oh, quite a bit.
Daily.
it daily?
The childcare center's open 7 AM to 6 PM, 5
Okay.
days a week, and then events and church are pretty much every day,
Okay.
and some evenings.
And that's the primary entrance? I
Nope,
just
there's
don't know.
another entrance, you can see the lighter colored gray pathway right up the front.
Yep.
But there's two flights of stairs,
Mhm.
so often there's events upstairs, kitchen, and meetings, and the childcare center downstairs.
And there's a ramp in the back of the building.
Yeah, and a
Okay.
ramp in the
Yeah.
back of the building
Yeah.
as
Okay.
well.
So the childcare is downstairs, I just don't know, okay.
And this is our primary parking lot, so mostly kids and parents,
and accessible parking is there.
yeah, and our accessible parking is there.
So the lead pack makes no bearing on a wheelchair. If the accessibility is upstairs, it really has no play in.
Well, anybody accessing the business downstairs would have to come in through the downstairs door, or using the chapel room, or visiting
Which is,
the church offices. Cause there's 2 flights of stairs, but there's no elevator or anything.
But there's accessible parking from the store, the church parking out front, and they could use that paved sidewalk to the basement.
I mean,
From the storage you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah,
if somebody in a wheelchair has to go to the
Yeah, yeah,
basement,
yeah,
you can
yeah.
still access.
from an ADA standpoint, that would be
Yeah.
what they would require.
Right.
They would not allow you to use this as the entrance to the ground floor.
Right, so I guess my point is that it's a moot point for arguing about wheelchairs and accessibility, this is
I mean,
merely a
it's more
bypass
convenient
path.
for sure, but yeah, technically speaking,
I was thinking more we have young children and strollers and that kind of stuff, not a wheelchair, but this is where all my parents drop off and pick up. I also had a quick question, Ron, you mentioned before, is there there's like melting units on the roof of the parish house to prevent ice buildup, is that true?
Well,
That was working?
there's a heat tape in the gutter in the back of the building, that's all.
So like, I was just also looking at the front of the building, that front corner. It looks like the path is gonna be that close that anything coming off the building there, icicles or snow off of the parish house building, may end up on this, and I realize it's a rough sketch, but,
it's a rough sketch, yeah.
okay. So is there gonna be any measurable distance between that corner and the edge of the pathway?
There has to be, so that we
So-
can drain, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
So, any idea what that'll be, and is there an additional page with like measurements or anything, or is this just kind of a?
Kim, do you have the application?
Were there more pages than appendix B and this image?
sorry about that.
And then I guess do you have your equipment, are you gonna be the one performing the work? So that's gonna be packed over the course of a month, or is it like you do it in a day or two and then you're done? We have ledge pack on my driveway, but honestly, we have to redo it and add to it every year, and we've had it for about 15 years.
You're running snow plows over it.
Right, well, we have a tractor, but I don't know, I noticed that the material used last year did end up in the snow blower and did get blown against the buildings when we were cleaning last
What
year.
material?
There was some like small crushed stone, but I
Yeah,
think
That's
before,
not ledge trap.
right. I guess I am a little bit concerned about material getting blown out of the snow blower if that's how this is gonna be cleaned, especially where it's not a perfectly flat surface. But, I mean, that's the church's problem, I guess.
Yeah, there's not gonna be any stones involved here.
Well, ledge pack is, it's got like some stone dust in it, but,
3/4 fractured granite with stone dust mixed, so that when it gets wet and compacted, it
Yeah.
forms a very hard surface.
I don't think it's gonna be a major problem, it's just a short distance anyways, it's not like it's a big driveway.
okay,
I don't foresee that being a big problem.
alright.
Is there an anticipated cost that's been determined yet for this? So soup to nuts, how much is this gonna cost? Does anybody have any ideas?
We haven't had a meeting to discuss it, so.
Okay,
Now, honestly, most of that work out there I did gratis, and
right,
the reason that this is the way it is for that reason. I mean, if you want me to do the whole cost accounting and stuff, but, is it $500? Probably not.
okay, cause I had a question asked of me today from an LLC shareholder about how much this would cost versus paying someone to do the snow blowing in a timely fashion so that it doesn't accumulate and create a ice mound or a snow mound if it did last year. Is that why we're talking
No,
about?
because the ice and the snow would melt compact and then it would come off. It's a metal roof with a
Right.
metal extension.
Right.
So it would all come off and then it was like 6 to 8 inches of slush, and that could happen at
2 in the morning,
2 in the morning,
okay,
and the snow blower can't move that, it just gets
Okay.
clogged over and over again, or it melts, as Kevin said, it builds up really
Okay.
fast.
It's also a safety issue. If somebody happens to
Right.
be walking by when that snow slides off, that's my biggest concern.
Yeah,
It's a
Right.
safety issue.
okay. Well, it was a question, so I'm
Yeah.
asking it. So if somebody said it was going to cost $500, then how many times could somebody snow blow it in a timely way before $500 was used up?
You
That
just
was
never know when that is.
Right, okay, so it's a moot point.
That's the problem.
Okay, but I asked the question, I due diligence, thank you.
Didn't Ted put things up on the metal roof? I think
Up to 10, I don't.
That's already been done.
I think that's been done, was that done last year?
No,
yeah,
that
it
was done
wasn't, he
this
installed them a couple weeks, maybe a month ago.
Okay.
Did Ted do that?
He did,
Good.
and they're not the kind that retain it on the roof, they break it up so it won't come off in one big sheet. So I think part of the issue is there's not anywhere for the snow and ice to go,
Right,
so either way, it's coming down.
good. Thank you, Kevin, for taking this on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, it's not the perfect solution, I grant you that, but it's what we're dealing with. You've
Yep.
got buildings that are too close from the very get-go.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got accesses that would never get approved nowadays. So we have to kind of work around all
Overlapping septic, so.
Yeah.
Weird thing.
that. Less overlapping at this point though, but,
Yep, thank you, Kevin.
alright, any
Thanks,
questions?
yeah.
You guys?
No, I don't think so, not from an HTC standpoint, I guess, so you spoke to Val Trauma?
Yeah.
Okay, and he speaks for the church, is, I guess, I
He's
just
a
wanna
ch-
make sure you're not gonna make everybody happy at the church, I just wanna make sure your concerns.
It's a church that brought this up initially. I'm a trustee,
Okay,
okay, and Jeff is the chair of the trustees.
okay,
So we're both trustees.
okay,
And we're the ones that brought up the issue in the first place. We're
Okay.
concerned about safety more than anything
right,
else.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure, especially the
It's
people,
nice of you to
the
get,
people that are here, that your concerns are.
yeah, it's nice of you to ask
feel-
that. So, we do have a committee, we're democratically organized, we do have a committee that deals with buildings and grounds.
Okay.
But several members of our committee didn't know this information, so
Right,
I'm just trying to clarify that.
okay. Do you feel comfortable after talking to Kevin?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, I think we should go forward.
I think it seems like a good, it helps solve the problem, and it's not a perfect solution, but.
I think for the church as another not wealthy entity, you know, thinking ahead about upkeep with, you know, we need a solution that is, this is inexpensive now, but, you know, sort of thinking ahead 3 years if it needs to be redone, and that was sort of where my questions were coming from. And the store made these beautiful renovations and a beautiful roof but it's now affecting the church as well, and we wanna be a good neighbor. We really wanna be good neighbors, so that's sort of where I'm coming from tonight. So thank you for asking.
Kevin, is the time essential, like you don't wanna put it off too long before we start getting into real cold conditions and possibly some snow?
It won't happen before November 5th, I can tell you that.
Right.
So I'm actually gonna take a vacation this year. No, as long as the ground's not frozen, it won't be frozen till at least
How long do you think the project will take?
2 days.
2 days,
Just strip out
so 4 or 5 days.
the organic, well, working out here, yes, that's probably about right.
No talking to Kevin while you're doing this.
No, stripping the organic material, putting in, you know, getting the subgrade ready, compacting that, and then on the day to put down the ledge pack and compact that.
And there's no maintenance, like this is more or less permanent?
Well, like I said, I mean, if it gets compacted and we have a long, warm, wet spell, right? And for some reason, you gotta go out and you gotta snow blow, it is like a driveway, you never wanna plow the first snow, right? Because you're making more of a mess than what you're actually fixing. But once you've had the traffic over it, and it's particularly even if it freezes, then you're golden. You know, it's always when you first put in a driveway or a walkway, that's the critical part. Or late in the spring, once you get a little bit of snow and plow guy still shows up even though he shouldn't.
And if there is maintenance in the future, it will be a.
I suppose I can bring the tractor down and fix it.
Alright, so I make a motion as chair, so I do, alright, I make a motion to accept Mr. Bragg's work proposal for the path between the parish house and the center store. Need a second? Need a second?
You'd have to give me a script, that's right to say second.
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 All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Perfect.
We have a couple of new pieces.
Thank you.
Yeah, we can have that seat back.
Okay, and we do have a brand new board member, that's gonna do this in a different order, but Vanessa Crofton has just been, joined the board, signed up by the select board. So she will be a full voting member, moving forward. And, the only person we're missing was Ann tonight. Okay, alright, moving along. 3D, replace and repair fence around the playground at the parish house. Application, can I pass that around? And Ron, who will be speaking, Ron?
Yep.
Alright, so this is repairing fencing behind the parish house using PVC to replace balusters with rounded tops. Okay, you wanna describe the,
Well, first of all, Adrian, could you speak to the state issue and the fact that the state came in and talked to you about the fencing?
Yeah, so the current fencing that's there is pine, I think. And was donated, or I don't know, there was a lot of time and effort donated to what went into it. But it has like a neck at the top and goes around
Like
like
a
this.
lollipop, shape of a lollipop.
Which is unfortunately a weak point of the design, it's beautiful, but, so the individual pickets have been rotting and, some of the posts are rotting and the backing supports have been rotting. And also, there's been a considerable amount of upkeep, just, scraping, painting, replacing every year, and it's something that we routinely, you know, our licensors look at it and go, oh, how's that fence going? Cause I don't know, how many pickets, Judy, 200 and?
There's 280 pickets.
280 pickets, so it's been a continual source of maintenance. We've put in, you know, a couple $1,000s here or there just to have it repainted and redone and fixed several times over the past 6 years. And that's our experience.
So my proposal is basically, as I'm repairing the cross members and the posts, all the balusters themselves, I'm replacing, instead of doing the lollipop shape, which is a real problem trying to make, they're a weak point because they break off all the time. I'm proposing to use PVC and round off the tops, which is gonna be a lot stronger and less of a problem, and obviously with using PVC, we won't have to paint them. Which is an ongoing issue, when the state comes in all the time and is always telling us, you know, we gotta paint, so it's been piecemeal for years and years, so now I'm gonna do a full repair all the way around over the course of time. I've already done 4 of them, which we really needed to do. So you can actually see, I sent in a bunch of pictures also, I don't know if you have access to those or not, but I did send in some pictures to show, but that's why we're doing the PVC, so that we don't have to, we have less maintenance and they'll hold up a lot better than that lollipop shape.
So it's the lollipop, there's no, my understanding, that was something that Ted West was involved with?
Well, so these were, the fence itself with the lollipops was put in 20 years ago, 20 some odd years ago. And Ted West is the one who had the jig for it, so on and so forth. So he's made a few more for me over the course of the years. But it was a kind of a pain, because I'd have to go back to him and he'd have to make 10 more, and then they keep breaking off. The rounded top will prevent that breakage.
Yeah.
And so, and by working on one section at a time, I'm replacing the cross members and the posts that are rotted in the ground and so on and so forth, and I'll go all the way around and eventually get them all done. So that's my proposal.
So the posts are going to be made of what?
No, the posts are PT, pressure treated. The cross members and the posts are all pressure treated.
And those are fine?
Well, no, some of the posts have, most of the cross members have to be replaced also, that a lot of
Well,
those.
that's why I was kind of getting from what
Yeah,
Adrian was saying.
Yeah, so I'm buying pressure treated 2x4s, if you will, for the cross members. I'm painting them. And then what posts need to be replaced, I will do the same thing. You know, it'll be 4x4 posts that I'll paint and make sure that they're solid. But most of the posts are in pretty good shape. There's only a couple of them that need to be replaced.
Okay. So the posts and stretchers are pressure treated,
Right,
painted.
correct.
It's just the pickets.
Right.
Yeah, the pickets themselves will be PVC, yeah.
Any questions?
What dimensions the PVC?
They're 4x1.
How are you fastening them?
I'm sorry,
How, are you guys nailing them or are you screwing them?
screwing them. Yeah, drilling and screwing, yeah.
I guess my only thing is, I mean, I would prefer to see the lollipops, but I totally understand that isn't very practical
Yeah.
for the children and whatever. But if you're gonna have pressure treated posts and pressure treated runners, why can't you just do pressure treated balusters?
Well,
I'm a carpenter, I personally don't like PVC, especially in a historical district, and if you're already using wood, then in my opinion, you should just continue to, you're gonna have to paint the posts and the horizontals, so that just.
at one point or another, but that's a lot less work than having to do all the pickets. We've been doing this for 20 years now, you know, playing around with this.
Oh, it's,
And,
yeah,
and it's a real pain, and we're getting
It's-
fewer and fewer people raising their hand going, I'll do that, you know?
it's definitely maintenance,
So, that's why we're going with this, and I kind of played around with it, they seem to be rugged enough, and they'll hold up.
Is it AZAC or is it like veranda board?
It's kinda all the same.
It's PVC,
Yeah,
This is-
I just,
Was AZAC the brand you bought, or do you remember the
I don't know
brand
what the
name?
brand name is,
They're all the same.
it's all it's the same thing we use for trim boards around a house.
that's what I'm,
Stains a lot easier.
that's where I was going with
Yeah.
it. If it was veranda board, I have some issues. One of the issues we've had with fencing of any type of vinyl, and I realize this isn't the other type of vinyl fence, is it staining, getting sunburned, if you will, that discoloration. So I would be curious if it truly is AZAC pretty much will continue to stay white looking. But some of that other stuff can yellow over time. And you're gonna have the same issue as a crappy looking picket because they're flaking off, as you will with the veranda board. And I don't know about the attachment too, if on a 4-inch board, you would wanna have two
Probably 2 cord
two
ticks.
cord screws, because I'm worried about cupping. I don't know if on a 4-inch board, that's a big concern, but
I'd be more scared of the cable than to tell you the truth, like PVC is not durable,
It's pretty
it's
brittle.
pretty brittle. You get a
Well,
kid
that's-
who throws a ball, kicks, I mean, you get it 2 or 3 years old, it snaps. Wood doesn't snap, I know wood is a pain in the neck to maintain, we can all speak to it.
Well, they snap too, and that's what part of the problem, that's why I wanna go with PVC.
Yeah.
I guess my biggest thing is I'm pretty new to the committee.
Yep.
And I try to be as lenient as possible, especially when, in certain circumstances, and definitely money's always a factor. But
Yep.
like, the more and more I'm here, the more the historical aspect of this district and Shaker Village just kinda gets pushed in the wrong direction. And I really don't wanna use you guys as an example, cause you guys are great neighbors and great to have in the community, but just for me, I don't understand, I understand why you're using PVC, but it's a historical district, this committee is here for a reason, and that's not historic. If you're using all plastic, if you're putting up a plastic fence, that would make sense, but 2 out of your 3 components are wood. So I guess that's just my concern.
Putting up a plastic fence, you got a quote?
It was over $20,000, and I spoke to Kevin about it because he mentioned
No,
that
I understand
Shaker
price.
Village did put in that kind of vinyl fence, right? And you said it
well,
was,
that's a different type of.
that's the one I got the quote on, though, it was hollow
Yeah.
vinyl, and it did become brittle, it didn't have good UV protection, even though it was rated well. And it was exorbitantly expensive. I was writing a grant at the time, and we got the grant, but we couldn't afford to do anything else.
Right.
And Kevin mentioned that it didn't hold up well, right? It was less than
Oh.
10 years, and
It's
he said it
cold,
would never
right?
get approved here, cause it was visually not compliant really with what the,
The difference, and I'm sorry, I don't know the difference, technically speaking, but one's polyvinyl something or other, and one's a different type of poly. The PVC that you're talking about has more flexibility, so the stuff at Shaker Village is that very shiny, smooth PVC that the minute it gets cold, all you gotta do is that, and you can almost break it. So it has very little resistance.
When was that approved?
Oh, this was back when they built the restaurant.
So that was before me. I guess my point is personally, I'm new to this committee, I live in Canterbury, obviously, but I just I came here to preserve what we have. And we have rules and regulations, and in my opinion, plastic is not historical, and you're using, I guess, I want you to understand kind of where I'm coming from, to me, that's not historical, you're using 2 out of 3 of your materials are wood. So that's kind of my speed bump to get over.
Visually, there's not gonna be a whole lot of difference, other than the rounded top as opposed to the lollipop. So, I
I
mean,
understand.
you're not gonna see
It's
you're not gonna see the PVC, it's gonna look like a fence.
Well, I understand it's gonna look like a fence.
Right.
It's the product and the principle is kind of what I'm getting at. I mean,
we already do have buildings, several in fact, in the town center that have vinyl on them. They are not spruce clapboards.
No, I need to-
And I believe the town office is now covered in cement board exterior, is it not?
That,
Well, they don't need to follow
I think there is some
HDC
hardy.
rules.
Well, I'm just saying, we've got hardy plank, we've got 2 giant buildings with
Yeah,
vinyl.
yeah,
And it's visible because it's cracked and broken all over the place.
Right,
two
So,
giant buildings covered in vinyl though are
Well, I guess
church buildings.
I guess that's in a sense why I joined the committee, is because I see that and I don't wanna, it's a slippery slope when you start, you know, accepting that, and I just,
I think it was a hard,
that was way before
change
my
for a
time,
lot of
I guess I just wanna, you know, kind of going forward, that like, I'm not gonna be strict about it, but like, I mean, I wanna preserve what we have, you know?
I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I think,
Every year.
and I think
Every other year.
it's an interesting question about why it would be useful to do some elements with wood and others with PVC. But I think for us, the main concern that we're dealing with is having something safe for the children in that playground.
Okay.
And the longer the pieces are broken, or the more pieces are broken, not only does it affect the licensure of the childcare center, but, you know, the kids are playing in this space where it's not safe. So just, I think for us, the speed of being able to do this with PVC and the affordability makes that a compromise we're willing to make.
I guess my question is why right now is it not safe? Because of the peeling paint or?
cause the wood is all rotted and it's been painted over and over above that, so that there's a bunch of rotted pieces that are just not,
So I guess my point is like, my issue is the product you're
Right.
using.
Right.
Like, if it's rotting, you replace it with new wood.
we
It's
can't
lasted-
afford to do that anymore, there's nobody to do the work and we can't afford to keep replacing it.
PVC is more
It's
expensive.
more expensive.
It is more expensive right now.
Not much more expensive than clear pine, which is what we would need to do.
Right,
And the fact that we don't have to paint it makes it cheaper in the long run.
long term, we're worried about the maintenance and like a perpetually unsafe situation, which is what we're seeing. Cause I can't have any chipping paint, the building was made before 1978, so the building and all its surroundings, can't have any chipping paint anywhere that children are, basically.
You have to be painting every single day.
I've painted that personally, every year, at least 2 sections after we're replacing. But, I think what you were saying, the structural is the wood, because that is more sound structurally, but the pickets are like a vast amount of surface area that Ron has also painted every single year. And, I just think long term, also, I don't know if you've noticed it, it looks pretty bad. Because there are broken pieces all over the place and, I don't know, visually it's nothing to say is beautiful right now. But we were hoping for a compromise, and I will just say, I've sat in on some of these meetings and it was, you know, we didn't really want to change either, we would love for it to perpetually be wood, but long term, there's nobody to do the maintenance, and neither one of our nonprofits have the money to do the upkeep and find that balance where it's safe and it looks pleasant and it's functional. So, I thought this was kind of a compromise and visually has Ron, you replaced 4, right?
I've replaced 4 sections so far.
And I believe the contractor 3 years ago used that material on the gates that are fastened, they're less visible from the road, but they might have a little bit of mold on them that's visible, but they haven't bleached or anything that you're talking about.
What about mold and mildew on the PVC, cause that's the north side of the building, that's gonna mold and
I'm
mildew.
not sure, like I said, I think the handicap ramp at the top and right onto the playground, those 2 gates have the PVC, I believe it's AZAX is what the other contractor used. And then the exterior gates are still wood. So, I don't know, you can look and see what you think.
I just guess from a maintenance, you're talking about painting, right, and flaking paint, mold and mildew, that's probably got an impact on licensing as well, or health. And PVC has
I
a
don't know that
tendency to,
No, it mentions
state doesn't-
flaking
I
paint
don't think.
and,
so
any exposed, like, where it's rotted, obviously the screws and nails and stuff are sometimes sticking out, so we're just trying to turn those in and make sure there's none of that facing inward.
Any questions? Yeah, the regs are pretty clear that, wood or stone for fences. So we're talking about something that's other than what's in the regulations. So, not that we can't grant it, but from maybe addressing Alex's concern, this is more of a leap than what you would think it would be, because there's nothing in here that grants you the right to do something other than wood or stone, right? I don't have an issue with not having the lollipops. I can understand why the weakness of that design would not hold up, especially with kids hanging on them. I would be concerned about it looking, how long is it going to have sections that are one, sections that are the other?
Oh,
Is it gonna take a year?
I'm hoping,
and it'll be done,
I'm
or-
hoping by sometime, I'm hoping to do at least another 4 or 5 sections before the snow flies, if you will.
So you're looking to do it all?
I'm looking to do it all.
Succession,
Yeah,
not when they happen to fall apart.
Well, no, as I have time to do them.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
So I'm hoping to have another 3 or 4 sections done before winter flies, and then in the spring I'll finish them.
right, I'm just trying to establish that it's not, those were the 4 that needed it now, and we'll
Right.
check next year to see.
Those are the 4
We need
that the state was most
Right, so
concerned
it's a
about.
5-year project,
Yeah.
then the design starts to get into, again, you're not replacing in kind, so we're moving on over that.
It'll happen
but-
within the next 6 months, 8
Is
months.
the project schedule accurate on the form? Cause it says 6/28, and that would be 9 months from the end of last month.
Well, you'd have a year for the approval anyway, so.
Yep, good.
My concern is the discoloration, if it was to occur, and or mold and mildew, because the reason you're asking to use a different type of material is because of the savings that theoretically it will bring, and it may, I don't know. But if in 2 years you end up with these yellow looking pickets against bright white stretchers and posts, you know, then it starts to really go.
I've used the same stuff on my house for several years now, it's not an issue.
Yeah. Well, and like I said,
Yeah.
that stuff hasn't been around long enough, but
Well, they look pretty awful when
It's better than
start to
peeling
peel and they start to, get rotted out, they look pretty awful then too.
yeah, no, I get that, that's why I was saying it's a balance. So the design, the material, the timeline, those were the 3 things that I had on my plate.
I add something, it's also, Ron is volunteered to take on this project with no payment. And as far as materials go, he has also sourced someone who is
Willing to pay for this.
willing to pay for this.
Yeah.
So it's,
No,
you
And
know,
thank
at
you,
no
I-
cost to the daycare and no cost to the
I
church.
appreciate that, but
I know, you know,
the board can't, like,
in a perfect world, we would have people volunteer to paint those wooden ones every single year. We're aging,
no,
it ain't gonna happen in the future.
right.
It
Yeah.
might be
But we have
time
to balance this.
to evolve.
Judy, because that's the cost in the maintenance. You have to balance that with saying that,
Well, and the volunteer work, somebody to do it.
no, I understand that, but what, if I could finish, the board can't make decisions based upon monetary issues. Otherwise, everybody would have a reason to do something other than what's in the regulations allow, right? I mean, there would be no reason to have a historic district, you wouldn't need codes for that matter, if
But
somebody
you
could
do
just say-
you do take financial things into consideration, right? Not just purely, but you don't just say, oh, we don't look at that at all. It seems to me, in our previous discussion, we did pay attention to cost
Well,
and materials and stuff.
you're paying attention to it in the sense of, is it the overriding factor? Because if it's the overriding factor, then that's not a good reason to do something against the regulations. Right. But if there's this give and take thing going on and you say, oh, and we have volunteers who can do this, or people who are willing to pay for it now, that's a little different. But you can understand if a homeowner came in and said, I can't follow these, but I'm gonna go ahead and vinyl side my house. Well, then why shouldn't the neighbor be able to vinyl side their house, and so on and so on and so on? That's what you have to,
Saying that that's the only consideration, is that what you're saying? I don't think we feel that way.
I
No,
think
no, no,
safety was an issue in both of these.
Yeah.
Safety is a big issue.
yeah, right, well, that's what I'm saying, there's reasons behind, no different than granting a variance, right? You've got good reasons for it, public interest, and you should do it. Any other questions from the board members? Vanessa, are you? Okay.
No questions.
All right, hearing none, then I will ask that we vote to accept, and I'm sorry, on the application you had that completed by 6/28/26, yeah. That we accept the application as approved with materials and style as applied for. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? 3 passes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see how it goes.
Certainly will.
All right,
All right, if we're done.
those are done.
We're gonna do water sampling at 6:45, right?
Up on the agenda, I believe is the budget.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming out tonight, folks. Review the 2026 proposed budget. Do we have copies of the Cheryl, or
I just
is
have-
this the only one?
I have the one that I had as well, that Cal gave me, unfortunately, I don't have anything else.
Maybe I'll just read them out
I can
loud.
swear, I can share.
There's only 3 lines to it. Secretary wages, in 23 were $1,150, in 24 they were $940. 25, 134, is that correct?
Yeah, because apparently there wasn't really anybody for taking minutes.
Keep it low budget.
Okay, so realistically, you've got 2 years there of actual secretarial work going on, which was right around $1,000 between the 2 years, right? I mean, I know in 23, we had quite a bit of work on the regulation stuff, so if we kept it under $1,200, I don't see how next year there's any reason to be more than what was budgeted in 25.
Because what, you meet once a month, meetings are about an hour. Say it takes 2 hours to do the minutes, that's 3 hours, $20 an hour, we'll say, I think that's about the going rate, 20. Or even on the, I'd say it's $25 an hour.
It's 20.
20, I was saying, I think it was somewhere in the ballpark, so you get $60 a meeting, times 12, 720.
720.
So 12,
Yeah, that's what I
100 is still in the ballpark.
I think
You can cover all the postage.
that's a separate line. So,
Pretty
So for-
consistent though.
for 26, you wanna just leave it at 1050?
And just maintain,
Mm-hmm.
never know, there might be a big project coming up,
Never know.
more PVC.
Yeah,
Yeah, postage, in 23 was $33, we spent $196 in 24. And I have no figures here for 25, which I know we've spent,
That
just
Sorry.
tonight alone,
$25 on me.
right? So,
Your postage is going up like dramatically.
I would say let's go back to the $2,300.
Yeah.
Or we could just bump it up to 200, like, which
Yeah,
is,
the actual for 2024 is about 200, I'd
Yeah.
probably err on that side.
cause I gotta believe that we were over $100 this year.
I can ask Cal.
Yes.
Let's,
Everybody was up, planning board was up, just
It was up
zoning board was up.
20%. So we'll put 200 there, and then under printing,
Keep looking at me.
I don't know, I always look to the left, when I'm thinking to myself, I
Yeah,
do
I
look
look
to
to
the
the left
left,
too.
right? That's the thing.
I kind of need the clock. It's sort of left there.
Yeah,
Most of
so
that
we-
comes out of office expenses.
Well, that's kind of our office expense, so we've spent 231, 389, supposedly up to 170 so far this year. So,
This is printing sheets like this,
no, actually, the applicants, anything to do with,
okay?
right. So the hope is that applications and whatnot are posted online
Mm-hmm.
and emailed to us members, so that we can,
I wish I'd seen these two before.
well,
Because they weren't online.
yeah,
Right.
Usually they're on the
I-
agenda, you can pull them up.
Yeah,
they were not
I
No,
would
they
have
weren't.
liked to
Yeah,
have
I
seen
I was
PVC,
wondering why you
so
texted
it's
me,
like-
where are you? I was like, I'm right on time, whoa.
It's like, yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people.
so I will check in the office and see, I know with Michelle out and Jan filling in, maybe things are not quite as smooth. But
Be alright.
Michelle had been doing that, she was sending out, as soon as the applications were in, within a day or two, she was sending the application and supporting materials
That was in
Yeah.
our,
email,
that was in our emails? Probably check those.
probably should.
You have to open.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good at checking, I didn't see anything.
So given that we spent 231, I would say, why don't we just budget 250? That's less than last year. On par with the year before that. That makes sense.
Are we talking about
Still on
printing?
postage?
We're talking about printing.
Okay,
Printing?
We
so
said
the
200.
actual
300.
389,
Right, but the year before that was only
and that was
231.
231.
2024, when we did the redo on the regulations, there was a lot of stuff.
That's okay, yeah.
Everything's going up, yeah.
So what were you proposing, 250?
Just because, yeah.
Yeah.
We spend what we gotta spend. But it's nice to at least
It's your
have a
tax
budget.
dollars.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Is that how that works? Okay.
So $1,050 for secretarial wages, 200 for postage, and 250 for printing. That sound
Okay.
copacetic? Yeah,
Yes, I agree.
alright, I don't know that we need to vote on this, but
I
if
think
you're
we
all,
just submit it back.
we'll just submit that,
Yeah.
we can give that to you, Cheryl.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you.
Very good. Old business. Any old business to talk about?
Not me, no.
Any new business or other business?
Do you wanna talk about the signs or wait till we get a formal?
Could you just give us a brief update on how that's going?
Okay, so the select board started discussing the center of town sign ordinance, cause there's an ordinance for the, specifically the green is where it's mostly enforced. And we're looking at rejiggering it a little bit to be a little bit more strict, I guess, try to clean up some of the plastic signs, the drive-by
And
stuff.
these are people that just post as they see fit.
Currently under the ordinance, which I think came in 2009, don't quote me on it, the intent of it was to have handmade signs that sort of resonated with the historic center. You have to apply and be approved to post them on the green. And we've just seen a lapse in the past couple years in overuse from things that really aren't pertinent to town, you know.
Mhm.
John,
Like
sidewalk
signs that
mowing.
I removed from my lawn at the
Exactly,
weekend,
exactly, yeah, so that sort of
So,
stuff, so
yeah.
we're in the midst of sort of restructuring that ordinance or those rules, and obviously since it's in the historic district, you know, sort of, I guess, if you wanna chime in, have any thoughts, ideas, I know Kevin and I kinda spoke offline, the select board last week, you probably saw us on Friday, we're out there looking at locations of signs.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, you saw Beth's array.
Yeah.
But I think we're sort of coming to, still continue the application process, but either look at a signpost that you'll hang, you know, if you get approved, we issue you your placard, fill it out, you can hang it on there kind of thing, or stick with the ordinance we have now with the hand painted, no more than 10 square feet, etc. So, I don't know if you have any thoughts, ideas.
The ordinance right now, do they, if it's hand painted, can they just put it there without permission?
No, everything's an application.
Everything's
Yeah, okay.
application.
And it's, the only businesses permitted on there, are like agricultural, harvest, farms, it has to, Canterbury business that's, I mean, you can't put Joel's Oil out there, but you could put Hackleboro Orchards.
Right.
So I think it's agricultural, I don't have the ordinance in front of me, so I couldn't even speak
Agricultural
on
we
it.
see that?
events and.
Yeah,
something
it was
else.
essentially community stuff, community events,
There's
harvest,
like 3
Yeah.
categories.
And what was the terminology used? It was the sign ordinance, is what you said?
yeah, I can
Look that up.
email. Yeah, the sign policy, I've got it right here. Well, it's in an email, I don't know how to do this.
No, I didn't set up for this.
Share, does anybody have AirDrop? I can
I
AirDrop it to
do.
you.
But I doubt I have Wi-Fi. And I don't have service. Yeah, I can AirDrop.
I think, don't see people nearby. Alex, you want it? I got you.
I think I'm good.
Let's read some sign.
Here we go,
ordinances.
if you go to the
I can't.
if you go to the
actually-
website and just put in sign policy in the search,
Okay, yeah, I've written my.
2009 sign policy,
Okay.
and actually.
Anything else I need to read to know what's okay and what's not? Just go back through minutes and precedents and things of
Well,
that
that's what I was
nature.
gonna say,
None of it matters, people
very-
just do
I
whatever they
feel
wanna do.
very unprepared, I really want, so you know, really,
it's your first night.
really wish I, yeah.
But the regulations, do you have a copy, or can you get them on?
I have
Wow.
read, yeah, I've been through, because of course I'm doing stuff to my house,
Yeah.
right? So I've read what I could access, at least I thought that I read everything that I could
Okay.
access, I missed a lot. But if I just get pointed in that direction, I'll make sure to educate myself on all of that.
Yeah.
I did feel a bit out of my depth for a number of those.
If you go to town offices and talk
Yeah.
to Jan or Michelle, they'll print you everything and give you all the ordinances.
Right,
Yeah, if you're a paper person.
no, I can read them all online, that's totally fine, if they're up there, then I'll make sure and do that. I am all for like being particular about the signs, it can just trash the center when people get a bit crazy at yard sale season. And it got crazy last weekend. That lady even came to my door and was like, where's my sign? I was like, what sign?
I took it.
I took one too, I was like, what sign, what are you talking about? I
So
don't-
the current policy, all signs placed on town land require prior approval by the select board.
And so what sort of recourse is there if someone decides to flout that,
A town official takes it,
just takes
and we
it?
call you and say we have your sign.
Got it,
If it's, I mean, you have private property, so.
yeah, there is
you-
that,
Right,
yeah.
That's, all
but
signs must be temporary and erected only for the specific duration of an event, harvest, or other activity. Permanent signs may not be erected.
So is the selectmen or the town gonna come to us before we approve that, or like is there a process, or
we're gonna try to get it together, and then I'd like to bring it back to you guys
do we have
before
to
we
come
vote on
to
it.
the meeting, or?
I think I can just come and bring it to you, or we could invite you guys if, whatever, what would you rather, wanna come on a Monday night and hang out, or do you want me to come here and talk to?
They
It's up
last,
to you.
they last like 2 hours longer than this, right?
Yeah, it'll
yeah.
If it's the first.
But we could get you on the agenda right out of the gate, like Kevin comes, if we could get you on for like a 5:30
Yeah,
agenda and be in and out.
I don't care either way, I just think HGC should be involved.
I think so, yeah, no, I'll do whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's important, you guys are the last sort of bastion of protecting the center of town, so it'd be nice to get some input from you all as opposed to, you know, just the three selectmen. Be nice to hear other people's opinions and perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, I personally like to see it stay historic and traditional. I don't really like plastic signs, I don't like the political signs, I think that's not the place for that in the center of town. This is why people move to town, and that's what we're trying to preserve, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So it goes on about being constructed, must be well constructed and aesthetically pleasing, that's a pretty
God, can we get
subjective.
more, how do we vote more specific rules into that? I mean, that, exactly, that,
What's that
what does that even mean?
But then a very specific, paper signs, lighted signs, plastic message boards, moving signs, colored banners are not permitted. That's pretty clear, nobody can argue that, but if I build a big red apple and somebody else thinks it's an ugly apple,
Yeah.
what does that mean?
Exactly, yeah.
And then the space of the center shall be reserved for those events, businesses, or land uses that due to their location do not have other reasonable opportunities for effective signage. So it contradicts itself because it says businesses there,
Yeah,
and earlier,
That's why we're reviewing it, Kevin.
yeah.
but that's a good point, I mean, you know, if you're the ale man buried out in the boonies, he's got one down on Baptist Hill.
Yep, and the smokehouse just.
I was thinking about that, they don't have to, do they have to go to the town in order to?
I don't know if that's actually
This,
private land.
No, I don't wanna keep everybody too long.
the only thing we're attacking right now for the ordinance is the
Right.
center.
Okay, that makes sense.
Long term in the next year,
Yeah.
we're gonna address the
Okay.
town spots like that,
Okay.
because I think I don't wanna speak on behalf of the board right now, but it came up in conversation that, you know, those are vital traffic points in town, and it'd be nice to clean those up as well and give people the ability to advertise, like the smokehouse, or
Yeah.
what is it, White Rock Farm, you know, have a place that they can put their stuff and we don't have clutter.
No, I think there should be ways to let those businesses advertise that here's where you turn, you know, but again, do you want a bunch of plastic signs that go blow into the wind?
Right after
Because
election
they're
season, you get
expensive.
everything.
Yeah, or could it be a more organized thing, like, you know, I don't mind that corner, even though there's a couple posts on it, and I don't know if it's town property or
I
belongs to the
believe
Little Red House,
I
or,
think it's town.
Yeah.
But you also have to take, I think it's town, but it's also, there's a cemetery there.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
what is- what's
they
tactful and what's
mow
not.
it, the town knows it.
There's a couple corners, and I think right now we're also discussing the traffic islands, like on Baptist, Kimball Pond and Center, whether it's state
whether
or
that's
town.
state or not.
Because the state maintains the roads, but is it our traffic island or the state's traffic island? So then if that's ours,
Where all the selectmen put their political signs?
I put 12, maybe 14 if I
The
can.
plastic
Stack 'em,
political
just tape 'em
signs?
to everything.
Kevin, I have a question.
Certainly.
Does it seem like more, how long have you been on the board?
I was off for about
Approximately?
I was off for about 3 or 4 years, but since we moved to town, I think the year after, so it'd be about 98.
Holy moly, okay, a long time.
Solid, yeah, that's good.
In the recent past, does it
It's
seem
like in
like,
fifth grade or something.
does it seem like we're reaching that kind of slippery slope where people are coming in and there have been some things that the center store did that I didn't really like. And is it becoming a problem? Like, I'm not confrontational and I don't like to be the mean guy, but I touched upon it tonight. And I wasn't gonna lay the hammer down on the church, but like, just seems as though there's more and more things being proposed with all of these reasons to not keep it historical. And like, the reason I come here is to keep it as historical as possible.
Yeah,
Like, how do we, as a committee, like, not be a jerk, but at the same time, like,
well, I go back to the ordinance and the regulations, and and that's what I was kind of trying to get at tonight about the cost. And it's hard to tell somebody you can't do something, or you need to do something different, and it's gonna cost them money. But there's a reason the town has codes, for one, right? And then ordinances, and why decided it wanted to have the historic
I
district.
mean, honestly, the only reason I kind of was in favor of that is because they've been like grandfathered in to the historic district, and sometimes their hands are tied, but like people that move into this historic district, like know
Right,
before they buy a home or a property or whatever, and
Yeah.
Shaker Village too, like.
If they research it, it's not
It's
necessarily
just-
disclosed,
and that's, and you're right about the slippery slope.
I just don't wanna be a pushover, but it's,
No, I
it's
I
hard.
think the discussion needs to be brought up, and there's been other past members who have been very staunch,
So who's gonna be the mean
black
guy?
and white. No,
I mean,
but
I'll be the
I
main
can do
guy,
it.
I just wish I had known what was coming. I didn't, I was very ill prepared.
we'll make sure
Yeah.
that you get the emails that are forwarding the information.
Yeah, I have-
If that even happened for this meeting, I don't know
Well-
if Jan did or not, yeah.
I do gotta bring up though, cause was that a legal vote?
Like, can we go back
You're
on
in
it?
a butter,
I'm what, sorry?
you're in a butter, you were on the notice list. That would take her off the potential to vote, and just Alex and I, that's not a quorum.
Just because she's in a butter,
Usually you
Oh,
recuse yourself if
yeah,
you're in a
that's
butter.
right, I am in a butter.
I'm not making a big deal of it because I don't think it had any effect on it, but I'm just saying if somebody was watching,
well, it did,
like,
and people still watching.
no, I'm saying, the vote, I think the intent, like, the vote was, it was still two a lot, like, but in the future, I think we need to maybe
Yeah,
think about that, cause you, without like, it's imperative you have another person.
Well,
Like, when you guys have a quorum, I just selectively choose not to vote, I don't wanna overstep on another, like,
I didn't
when
know I
there's,
could opt out.
when you're out.
well, but it's not an overstep, you are a full voting member. So if you don't vote, you're actually,
I just abstain.
I
that's
wish I
okay.
could have abstained from that one, to be perfectly honest.
Well, I thought about it after the fact, and I looked at the application, and I said, oh, oops.
Does it really matter though? He's already replaced 4 panels, so I
It's
mean.
already-
Well,
it is-
this is a whole nother thing, in the discussion about vinyl and coming from the two buildings in town that are the most vinylized, right? And it doesn't mean that these individuals sitting before us today made those decisions, but it does say something about what happens when the process doesn't work. And
Yeah.
people just go and do whatever.
Yeah, I
So,
think, honestly, to play devil's advocate, I think all of us are guilty of that, and I wanna find like a happy medium is what, you know.
Well, I look at it like, I mean, theoretically, we should not have approved the vinyl fence because it's not in the regulations. It clearly does not say anything about it's okay to use vinyl. So to me, it's like a variance. You're looking at the reasons why somebody wants to go outside of what's allowed in the regulation.
Yeah, but
If the reasoning is sufficient, then I'm okay, because we have the right, if you read the very end of the ordinance, I think it is, that we can overrule what's in the regulation.
yeah,
Now, should that be based upon financial consideration? My personal opinion is no,
mm,
because like I said, talk about a slippery slope, everybody comes
everyone
in,
has a reason.
is gonna be there for.
but, I mean,
Also, the safety issue that you both brought up, which I don't have any ability to comment, if PVC, you can do this, and goes, I think I'd rather pull a splinter out of my child's face than a whole like bunch of shards of plastic,
Yeah, that's a different type of,
that's a
I
different
wish I
one.
knew polychloride versus poly.
It's the stuff you see like American fences putting up,
just
Home Depot
plastic.
fence,
Right,
Yeah,
it's,
that's
And
not,
what-
real shiny.
AZAC's pretty brittle anyways,
well, but that's why we asked about the fasteners,
accepted
if you're,
that.
if you're nailing that, I can push right through it.
I guess my point is like, it seems kind of coming into it, and no offense to you, like it kind of, like, it seems a little sloppy in a sense. I don't mean that offensively, I'm just like, you're up against a lot, and like, I mean, just seeing that, like, what do you do, like, say no? Like, they've already done it. But I guess,
it would have been good to know what
I guess-
alternatives had been pursued, like, for example, I've been here a full calendar year now, I don't recall, and I pay a lot of attention, any calls for people to come and help with this fence that needed repair. I never saw that. My children are in the choir. I know Judy and Ron, and I know Lisa and Al, and I know Becky, and I clean the church now because they need somebody. So we do that because it was advertised. I didn't see anything about a fence. I could have managed a fence. I could have done that if it meant, but I didn't think to ask at the time. I was just thinking, how can I run out of here because this is so stressful. No, I didn't think that at all. But yeah, and also just, yeah, the lack of preparation won't happen again for sure. But yeah, I wish I had asked the question, and I wish I'd asked for comparables. Okay, so if PVC seems better, why is it better? What is the price difference? Obviously free versus cost, I get that. But
Yeah, I didn't understand when you're saying that you, and I get it, cause the LLC is the same way, strapped for cash.
Well, I mean,
Why would you go with
the
the most
LLC
expensive material out
yeah,
there?
I mean, they put on hardy board when you guys rehabbed the building, and I wasn't a big fan of that.
and what
it's
is
just,
that?
it's cement board.
Right, that is right.
So like I said, we're all guilty of it, you
Yeah.
know, we all do things before we ask, and we put up things that we necessarily aren't historic. I just wanna find
Well,
a good happy medium, you know,
You have
to
to share
where,
village to offset.
so where we're preserving something, but we're not complete jerks.
Yeah.
You know, like I just feel like we all need to work together and to inform people better and to hold them accountable also, and to give them options, you know? Like going forward, I'm not gonna say yes all the time. Like I drove past Shaker Village, I saw the new cedar roof, and that looked good, as much as I don't like yellow cedar, like but it looks a whole lot better than an asphalt roof. And it's like,
That's
I'm
the trade.
taking an hour out of my time with my 2 kids at home, like, I'm not just gonna say yes to everything.
Right. No, and that's the thing is that, you know, you're taking time out of your life to do this.
Yeah, like I'm
Needs to
volunteering
mean
just like Ron's volunteering,
Right.
you know, like,
So don't ever feel that you shouldn't speak up
right.
because of that.
And I didn't mean you were sloppy.
The words you said.
I'm terrible at explaining
But
myself.
one of the things that I've always
just-
remembered, and I don't know if it was Mark Stevens who said it or somebody said it way back, is that ideally you come out of this, the applicant comes out of this with actually a better project because of the minds, and that's why I like having different disciplines
Yeah.
on the board.
Right.
Because there are things that I don't know about that you do, or you do, or you do, and lots of minds generally come up with a better product in the end.
I guess personally, it's just hard when church, like you don't wanna say no to a church, you know, like, but everybody's, it's the historical district, you know?
But your point
It's
of
the same thing with Shaker Village and everybody that lives in town, you know, like
the
it's-
church is no different in the sense of they are not a public entity like the town,
Mhm.
who can do whatever they want.
Right.
The church is a private entity and has to theoretically follow the same standards that anyone else in the HDC would have to. If you look at it like
those
that.
puppy dog eyes and, okay.
And the other,
Kids will be safe.
just the other thing I wanted to say about the overall, when you're thinking of stuff, is that it's not just about the historic buildings, because we get that a lot. Well, there's nothing historic, it all burned in the fire. The HDC is actually part of an attempt to keep the aesthetic of town. And so although it may not be a true historic structure or feature, it's the intent to keep a small rural New England community looking like that. And so there may be things that have nothing to do with a portico or, a true detail, but it impacts like signage,
Yeah,
the feel of the community, and I think this is the only place that can happen, short of maybe the zoning ZBA, but.
You have a list of all the acceptable materials, right?
Yeah, it's in,
In terms of fencing, this might be redundant or stupid.
It
Is there,
mentions
is there not a
fencing.
page where it has like 1750s to 1810 style fencing, 1810 to 1870?
It's not as extensive as that,
No,
it's pretty general.
What we tried to do, there was way back. But it was so, it even was generic, although it had more specifics as far as materials allowed, like true divided light windows, okay? Over the years, that morphed to, well, where are they? Are they visible to the public or your neighbors? Are they set 150 feet off the road, or are they right up close?
Yeah.
And allowing something to be done. But, so some things like that have changed. As far as periods, basically when the rewrite happened, it was trying to say, what's the main structure, what's the era? Things that are done to the building should reflect that era, so that you're not necessarily holding a 1950s ranch to the same standard as a Georgian.
We're not even in that discussion right now, we're
Right.
trying to discuss wood and PVC.
Well, what I'm trying to say is if you have an appendix like that that states, this is the acceptable fence, this is what we're looking for, then you can't come in and say, well, I'm gonna make it half moon crescent
I
because
read
it's
it.
easy on the router, you know? No, this is what it is, this is what we need to adhere to.
I read the fencing part.
Yeah, I have some.
I think we just need to.
Shall be no higher than 4 feet and made of wood or stone, visible from any public way.
Wood or stone.
PVC wood.
Fencing associated with primary structure shall be painted or stained, including pressure treated fencing.
In the application, I mean, I didn't notice, had any attempt been made to fundraise for a new fence or? Again, these are all coming to mind now
Yeah.
after the fact. I mean,
To me, that's not our business. I
yeah,
get
that
your
was,
point.
that was kind of a consideration, I was thinking, well, have you actually had comparable quotes from, how do you know you can't afford it?
That's where I go back to, the financial part is not part of it,
Yeah,
that we're not here to,
yeah, exactly, it seems, yeah, it's a bit reaching, so.
which going to the pathway, the reason about the asphalt and stuff, is caught a little off in that. I had that discussion with Jeff Beltramo, who I was told was the representative to discuss things, and then it would go back. So I was a little
Right,
caught off guard.
Yeah.
And that's why we decided on the village pack, if they'd amongst
For
themselves.
what's worth, I think your path is more historical than the asphalt path,
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah, can we put a couple rocks in so they trip? Make it real historical. But the issue is water, why isn't there gutters on that building? On the parish house, if that corner is a water dump, why don't they try to mitigate the water and divert it?
Cause I'm gonna make them put up copper gutters.
yeah,
Wooden gutters.
The topography is all messed up over the years, you've got negative pitch back to the buildings.
I just figured like, wouldn't
Yeah,
that be a way to
it's-
help for $1,400 a gutter, so you can get that water going somewhere else and help out a little bit and try to
Well,
mitigate
that's
the
the
roof.
problem, is you just never would design anything, nor approve anything. That's a lot of what's going on in this particular area. And so, like you're talking about ADA access, you can't use that as an ADA.
If somebody who uses a wheelchair, they can't.
No. They can use it, maybe with help, or they could use it if too strong, but as far as the,
It's too steep.
yeah,
Yeah, try going up that hill in the winter.
as far as trying to say, well, we have one,
Cause
that's how to get in.
there's a path from the center store.
Well, that's it, you'd have to park out front and come up, and then I'm not even sure there's portions of that where the pitch is over. So, that's why I go back to, we have something, how do we work with it? Because,
I think we need to go up on secretary wages. We're already over that. Put 1,200 on that.
well, I do appreciate you saying, I just generally, in the past, I've had years when I've been on the board where all we do is meet when there's an application. And we never had time to discuss anything, know how we think as a
It's
board.
cause we'd scare everybody away from
Right.
that.
And then we went through 2+ years of rewriting it, where it really was a lot of work. And lots of ideas are thrown out, some used and some not, but when you look at other towns that have HVCs, some of them are, I mean, go to Portsmouth,
I think we can afford to be more.
go to
rigorous.
Amherst, you know, do we need to be like that? No, but
I think so.
there are some small towns, like Sims,
No, I think we can be more rigorous just with preparation,
Yeah.
like you've gotta be able to say, and here's why, and point to, you know, bullet point this is,
Yeah.
these are the materials, sorry, like you're, sorry.
and the other thing, and this, I think maybe once in all my years has ever happened, you have 10 days to approve it. So this,
So wait, we could have been like, we can't make a decision now,
well, this is the
We'll
thing,
get back to you.
historically, when people come in and they sit there,
I was gonna ask.
they want a decision. Or
Yeah,
they've
it
gotten
makes
a
sense.
decision.
But he already put up 3 panels, so what's the point?
No, I get that.
That's the,
Right,
but we're already past it.
But I want this board moving forward to think
I
about
don't mind asking for forgiveness, but I mean,
Well, I can
that,
also say,
if you really aren't comfortable that you've got all the information,
I definitely had no information and that would be really helpful.
you should be able to speak up. Or if we just can't, we just say, we're not gonna decide tonight, we need to meet
Right.
again.
I didn't know that.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so much better, just,
It's never
Maybe
happened,
not
like I
much.
said, maybe once in my lifetime.
get ready.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna happen.
And we have, to your point, actually, your old house, there were former residents going way back where we made them take windows out because they went and did it and then came in,
But I can guess who.
so,
hopefully they were vinyl.
There's some vinyl, and they're being held up with tape currently, so I can, those windows. So yeah, I bet it was those, and no, they're not actual lights either, I ripped them off,
yeah, that's the problem with
they're
this.
so gross.
They never, oh, but we'll put the simulated dividers in it.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
be there for a year before they get busted and never.
So we're gonna rock, paper,
Exactly.
scissors for bad guy, or?
I mean,
No?
I can do it.
Vanessa, do you just wanna talk a little, just 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, about your background and,
oh, well,
not your life story, but
no, I know what you
mean,
mean,
it's-
why
she
I'm
does
here,
have-
why I'm relevant, I'm
Yeah.
not relevant, I haven't lived in the United States for more than half of my life, however, I've worked on buildings for mainly hospitality ventures that have had the most rigorous of regulations imposed upon them with grades and all due to European Union standards for like heritage preservation, so if you wanna change a window, it has to be done by one of 3 people who are qualified in the country, and so on the one hand, I thought that this was a very manageable task because we don't have anything remotely like what there is in Europe, and I'm familiar with that. And the development of buildings from terraces, let's say, that, you know, it's essential that everyone keep up their bit because it'll all fall down otherwise, and turning them from residential to commercial or a combination of the two. But having to maintain some very, very rigorous standards and having to get everything approved inside and out and to be compliant as well.
Inside too?
Mhm. Inside as well, every finish, every
We get
door
way
handle.
too good over here.
We have it really, really good over here, and I was like, this is small fry, I can handle that, but yeah, so that is my experience. Is there anything
That'll
else?
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can see fit.
well, and adaptive reuses.
yes, adaptive
Which-
reuses.
May be an issue in the coming years of the Shaker Village.
Yes, I think so, yeah. And landscapes, having to make sure that landscapes are in keeping with historical precedents of not lopping down a tree and not replacing it with something comparable or native, like what we're planning to do here, apparently, is that right? Is that already built into the regulations that if you need to remove,
Yes.
Yeah.
And they replace it with reuse.
yeah, so that sort of thing, yeah, of that nature.
Alright.
Can we have, sorry, one more question, can we have more members than we currently have?
No,
Can we, like,
well,
no?
we can have 5 voting members.
Right,
We can have
5 voting and then 2
2 alternates.
alternates?
However, the two
That includes
alternates,
him also,
no, he's a voting member.
so this is 4 and then Ann's 5.
Ann's 5.
So we can't have more than that?
No, not regular voting members.
Okay.
But you can have 2 more, according to my understanding, the town allows this board 2 alternates. The state RSA allows land use boards 5, I think it's 5.
Could be five,
alternates.
yeah.
5 alternates?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we've talked in the past about, it would be great, because
So I feel like we definitely need more people.
the more heads, the more backgrounds, if you're a realtor, if you're an interior or an exterior designer, or whatever,
This isn't your.
you know, you don't necessarily have to be a historic
That's me.
focus, you may have some tangential thing that,
Can I get David back on this?
And then have you talked to, I love Ann, but have you talked to Ann recently, or
I have not in the last month.
Ann Emerson?
Yeah, I've seen Anne, I saw her
Have
on
you seen her?
Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, we're working on a historic project,
Okay.
notable women in Canterbury. Yeah, she seems well.
But does she, what I'm saying is like, does, like obviously,
I'll give her a ring.
And.
does she wanna be here more often, or? Not to push her out, but just, let's see where she's at.
She hasn't been on 4 meetings.
Is it the night time?
It might be the night driving,
Yeah,
I'll check in with her.
so I can pick her up. Either way,
Alright, I'll check with her.
just keep in town.
In the past, that has helped her,
Yeah,
me and Jeff Leininger trade off.
and I can do that.
Alright.
I've talked to her plenty, kind of Rick Farm, she knows me.
Alright, I'll bring that up.
Yeah.
But more alternates? Or some,
Definitely.
any alternates?
Any
Are
alternates.
you looking for a pulse or do you want expertise?
No, I mean, I guess that's my point, is expertise.
We're not
can
pushing
be-
out, Kev, you're saying right there.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not going
Expertise
anywhere.
can be anything, it doesn't have to be, like, you have to be a history geek, that's my point, is, I think sometimes outside world looks at this board as like, it's all about saving some historic building. And to me, it's about, again, the character of town in those 2 districts. And maybe you're a land planner, or, I don't know. There's all kinds of people who have both vocational and avocational things that would be helpful for this board. Obviously, building trades and historic preservation, those are important, but
And probably somebody that may or may not work on Mrs. Crofton's property
Yeah.
in the near future.
there's that too. You know,
That's
somebody,
tricky, that's gonna be tricky.
somebody up
isn't it?
on, in the historic district at Shaker, you know, Shaker overlay district, you know. Dan and me would be great, but
And what is the butter sort of caveat for voting? Am I allowed to actually
Usually if you're in a
vote?
butter, you just abstain or you,
I would have thought
usually are
so,
required.
right?
I don't know for the HTC, like with ZBA, if you're in a butter or you're noticed, you just see you later, I don't sit at the table and they go through the.
That is
same
how it
planning
is
board.
in Europe, you're
Yeah.
not, if you're a neighbor, you can voice concerns, but you are most definitely not allowed to weigh in.
And I'm not
Yeah.
sure what the HTC's rules or bylaws are, or
I'll have, actually,
I thought of that sort of after the fact and
yeah,
There's
I should have
nothing,
put 2
there's
and 2
nothing in
together
the
and I didn't.
HDC,
okay.
you'd have to check.
Okay, I mean, I can ask it,
with
I'll ask Cal tomorrow.
The project was approved when you started doing it.
Yeah,
Well, if it is a procedural issue, then they'll just re-notice them and we'll just have to have a re-vote, so Ann will have to come and rehear it.
Yep.
That would be the only ramification. But I should have thought of that earlier and I didn't, so that's my fault. We can put that in the minutes.
But in future,
well,
maybe
it still varies. If you take an S out of it, you had 2 and an abstention, so you still have a quorum.
No, because it was for yours, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh, you talking about that?
That's the one I was talking,
Oh, I'm
cause it hit me
sorry.
after the
Yeah.
fact when I read the thing, I said, oh, there was only us 3 cause you were the presenter,
and then
Attachment.
yeah.
so that was the only. Yeah, like I said, I should have known, I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, that's definitely worth checking out.
Can we call a meeting?
Call.
Do I have a second?
Yes, and second.
All,
Alex, so
I don't know, is it?
all in favor, dismissing us?
I
Aye.
didn't even know the voting procedure, I mean, it was like,
I don't even know it.
this fish out of water, terrible.
You need to have
I would have watched
a movement,
Previous.
movement, what do you call it?
an